I did an Eddie Crook session, and at the very end of it, I needed to overdub one person, and somehow, when I pushed record, silence. I had erased the original track. Fortunately, the musicians were still there, and I got them all back in and just punched them in the track and went on and never knew any different.
Eddie Crook was a guy. I would do the sessions out at Hilltop studio for him on Saturdays when I was working my way through Belmont. And he had 2 reels of tape, and they had DVX out there. And so he'd use one tape one day and then another tape the next day, and then you would mix it, and then you use that same tape again. You had to go past where you recorded and then back up a little bit so the group that you were recording didn't hear the next group. But I'll never forget, one time I went to put one on the multi-track tape, and I rolled it back, and there was a pile of oxides about this big.
Oh, man.
And I looked at the reel, and there's probably maybe 15 albums had been done on that one 2-inch reel, 15 inch. And I went to Eddie, and I felt really bad. I was going to go, Eddie, you're gonna have to buy a new reel tape, sir. I don't think we're going to be able to record on this tape. And boy, he gave me cussing out, but I said, we really don't have any choice. But he got 15 albums out of that one reel, at least. Any other questions?
We would do that. He had his own section back in the tape vault, Eddie Crook, and we go back to start a session. We would go back and find the oldest tape, and that's where we get the tape stock. We go back and pull the oldest tape there and use it again.
Oh, you had more than 2 tapes to choose from?
Yeah, we did, actually.
Yeah, the luxury.
I had a bulk eraser, so you didn't have that problem of running into stuff.
Where'd the old console go?
Well, let's see. Well, the Neve that I got from Gene, of course, went to Merle Haggard, and then the Quad 8 went to a little studio in Arkansas, and the Neve V Series went to a studio in San Francisco, and the Neve 81 Series went to a studio in Louisiana, I believe, or Brownsville, Texas, I think it was.
Isn't the original
It's funny how I
console?
follow these things wherever they go.
Isn't the original console that Jack built in Arkansas?
Yeah, both consoles. The one that we had in the A room and the B room, both are at Rainey's. They're not, as a matter of fact, the funny thing is that same studio bought the Quad 8. So they're sort of a clearinghouse for old boards, I guess. But they've gotten 3, but that's where those are. They're in storage there. Be interested to see how they sound today.
Still making records.
And there's a B room upstairs for mixing and doing overdubs. Any questions? It takes quite a few people to put this on, and I want to thank Glenn Reeve and Mike Ford for helping out. And of course the whole crew here. Randy does the food, and we got Mark in the back taking care of what you're looking at. And our chief dog is Nipper. And we are streaming live, so I'm glad that everybody had a good time. You all have anything else you want to say?
I hope we're still around for another 50 years. I don't know what kind of formats we'll have by then.
Is this the 50th?
I think it's LPs though, don't you think?
This is the 50th anniversary?
Yeah, well, ever since
63.
63.
Well, I would just like to say in closing of my part that I would love to give honor to Jack Linneman.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was his vision and his engineering he knew how to make records, he knew how to capture it. The expression that I use in Christian music all the time now, called capture the anointing, but that's really where it came from. Jack had the heart for it, he had the ears for it, and he was knowledgeable, and he did things that nobody else could do, and I just want to give honor to him today.
Me too.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I owe my whole career to Jack. If it wasn't for Jack, I don't know if I would have got lucky enough to be in the music business, but I've been blessed all these years to have been able to do this for
It's just,
myself
I
now
mean,
for
it's
40
just the odds
years.
for him to pick up the phone,
Yeah,
meant that you needed to be
Yeah.
here. And you're
I
still
know.
here.
I know. Yeah, it really was.
How quick did he have you playing ping pong?
How did I do that?
How quick did he have you playing ping pong?
Oh, I don't know.
You and Jack used to play ping pong, didn't you? Yeah.
Upstairs, didn't it? Didn't it play upstairs?
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
summertime, it was hot, man, you just burn out.
Yeah.
Had to do it.
Well, we were blessed with great engineers right from the start. So, that's all I can say. And the people that recorded there would agree with that.
Yeah, it's still a high-quality place to go, you know. We still do records. I did one this morning session with a bunch of studio guys, and that's what we still do. And of course, Steve makes great records out there today. And but it all stems from Jack, you know, building a quality place for us all to be able to work in.
The players really, they feel good out there as well.
Billy?
Yes.
We first lived there too, when we were
Yeah.
married.
Where all those amplifiers go was in my bedroom.
Yeah.
And where my wife and I first lived there. We've been married 54 years. So,
So what did you all do during 10 o'clock sessions? I mean, because,
it wasn't noisy.
oh,
I mean, no, those,
Soundproof.
it's like he said, it was soundproof. And that portion was not in with that portion. I mean, it looks like it from the outside, but
Yeah, the
it was
corner.
completely separate.
It is pretty amazing. Like, for instance, our B room that's up on the top floor is so isolated from the A room. You can have a full-blown track session going on there just cranking, and you cannot hear any of it up in a B studio, and vice versa.
It's all
It's-
that massive concrete,
Yeah.
concrete roof.
Yeah, the roof is pre-stressed concrete beams
Pre-stressed concrete.
on top of the
beams.
roof.
oh, good.
Yeah.
One of the,
Heavy stuff.
One of
It
the
would make a
things-
great bomb shelter too. And also, you know, it is built into the side of that hillside.
Half of it's inside of a hill, yeah.
Yeah, so when you're in a control room, the ceiling is actually ground level when you're outside.
Yeah.
So you're literally down under the ground,
I learned from that, when I built Reflections, I did a poured in place concrete roof. There's a 12-inch block concrete, control room, 12-inch concrete sand fill, 4-inch airspace, 8-inch concrete block wall, poured in place concrete on the roof. You don't hear nothing
Right.
from outside.
That's right, it's strong, it's strong.
It always amazed me that Hilltop wasn't a big room, but some of the records that we made in there sounded like they were cut in a huge room. And the string sound and the brass sound for that day and era was excellent. The players always loved to work there. And, you know, we'd cram them in. We'd get a pretty good-sized string section in there. And I've actually done strings and brass at the same time in that room, which is really difficult. But it was a great room for just about anything you could put in there. And I can't think of one time that we had to do something else, or had to make any concessions because of the room. It was first class.
Amen. So has any room tuners ever been out there to help, you know, tweak the room, like when you put the drum booth in or any of that, or was this all as it was built?
It's all as it was built now. As far as studio monitors go, or control room monitors rather, back in the day when we used the big speakers, if you will, the Klipschorns, Steve Durr would come out and tune the room or something like that. But no, the room is what it is, you know. We never had to have anybody come out and tweak anything or do anything.
The biggest difference to the room was when Bill Harrison came we had a roof that was kind of like that. And when he came, we put in the dropped ceiling with the real acoustic tile.
Fiberglass,
Yeah, the
city
real,
region, yeah.
No,
the
yeah.
real stuff.
But that was one thing, when I bought it in '94, I didn't want to change any of that. It was just too good a sounding, so let's just make it prettier, was all I did. It's still that way today.
So it's not broke.
That's right.
Well, thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Hang on.